This is a passage from the book I'm writing. It's about peaks and troughs. It is said in the Count of Monte Cristo that a person must experience the deepest sadness before they can experience the deepest happiness. The peaks come after the troughs. As with any increasingly oscillating line, the peaks and troughs become further apart as the line continues across the x-axis. So, like if it starts like this and goes like this, then it goes like this and 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 like this. The oscillation amount increases. I wrote this, I think, when I was studying math a little more than I am now. Happiness may have been getting a toy, and sadness losing a toy when you're a child. Happiness now may be saving a patient's life, and sadness may be losing one. Both are vastly more important and greater than the child time concerns. But this is the evolution, an increased vacillation that happens as you go from boy to man or child to adult, and then to whatever's next. I always try to view my current goods and bads as childlike compared to what's coming next. That helps keep me in perspective after those awful troughs pass. With that in mind, keep pushing into your edge and making yourself die into the new moment. Die into what is to come, which will be better and better, undoubtedly, if you allow it to be. If you allow yourself to drop who you currently are, which is being challenged and which ultimately will fail. If not now, then when you die, because at death you lose everything about yourself, about your worldly identity as such. Allow the new reality to sink in and find it to be far larger, better, and more amazing than the one that you have now. This does not have to do with the situation that you are in. This does not have to do with the situation that you're in. And many times the situation you're in is only understood through the way you perceive it. The situation can change or get better or worse through the way you see it now. The beauty is to let yourself go and fall into the flow of what is happening, and your perspective widens beyond who you currently are, where you currently are, and what your previous positive or negative interpretation of the situation is. You begin to see the whole world or the whole universe and yourself as a piece of it. At that point, it hardly matters what your situation is. It does matter a whole lot what your situation is if you're not willing to drop your previous interpretations. If you're so bought into the way you used to think and cannot believe that there is a larger, more full, and more correct perspective. Knowing that you yourself can change makes those troughs so much easier to go through. Every trough, every downtime is an opening, a potential opening into changing, into opening yourself into a larger and deeper self. And that's normally when the form identity, whatever your conditioned aspect is, some part of it gets chipped away, gets taken away, which feels tragic. But that means it's time for you to move on and drop that thing because it's been taken from you. And you have to drop it and open into a deeper part of yourself that's not bounded up with attachments to things. That's where bad things, traditionally held tragedies, can be sources of awakening, sources of greater openings. The trough will be worse and worse the less you allow yourself to change. The trough, so this is what I was just talking about, the worse it gets means you must change to fit in with the new reality, which is the only reality you must live in. Not a reality of how things might have been, or a reality that you are fixated on creating. A reality that is reflective of real life. Then you can initiate the changes you need to make the reality you want, the new reality. You must know where you are now, believe the new reality while living in the current one, then make the new reality a reality. And what makes this all easier, when you realize all these changes are impermanent, that soon you'll go to a better time, So let me say that again. Let me just read it straight off the text. When you realize that all these changes are impermanent, that soon you'll go to a better time, then a worse time again will come. You no longer become so attached to anything, really, because it's all impermanent. When you are no longer attached to the goods and bads of the moment, but are instead interested in the process of life, in the noble act of what you're doing and doing it fully, you will find a deeper dimension to life and a deeper dimension to whatever it is you are doing. It is this type of focus and this type of equanimity that marks the greatest works that are ever created, which are done in flow state and which are textured beyond whatever they could have been otherwise. When you strive to make your whole life like this, a life of quality, beauty, and joy arise with far more frequency than they do otherwise when your goal is just to get what you want, regardless of the means. So, I hope you enjoy this. This is part of my book, and I stopped working on this book. I wrote this very passage years ago, I think in 2018, and I just stopped writing, focused on other things. But yeah, hope you enjoy this, and I hope it helps out. So with equanimity, with transcendence, we can get through peaks and troughs. When we lose things, it's a sign to open up into a deeper reality. That's basically everything I just said in 3 sentences. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you later.